The following demonstration gives an example of how to use the ELK. In this scenario, a person has fallen and been found lying on the floor. If the patient is seated on the floor and able to, they should be encouraged to bottom shuffle onto the ELK, which is secured by the paramedic. A patient can be assisted onto the ELK by tilting their body over to one side, allowing the paramedic to move the folded ELK into position. The patient can then lean over to the opposite side where the ELK is unfolded. The paramedic has established that no injury has been sustained, but the person is unable to get up without help. Ideally, the person needs to be sitting centrally on the ELK as close to the back as possible. The person should then fold their arms whilst maintaining a good posture as the paramedic provides support. It's essential the paramedic supports them from behind and remains there for the duration of the lift. The handset is operated by pressing and holding the numbered buttons in sequence, starting with number 1. The first section of the ELK will now start to inflate. Continue to hold button 1. The airflow will stop automatically once the section is fully inflated. It's important for a safe lift that each required section is full before moving on to the next. Press and hold button 2 to inflate the second section. At the earliest opportunity, the person should be encouraged to bend their knees and bring their feet towards the cushion. Once section 2 is fully inflated, the paramedic will need to alter their position to maintain adequate control. Press and hold button 3 to inflate the third section. 3 inflated sections will usually be sufficient to enable transfer, but a taller person may need all 4. It's essential that the person's feet remain on the floor at all times, and transfer should not be attempted from a partially inflated section. If the patient is able to, whilst being supported by the paramedic, they should reposition themselves so as to be seated across one of the corners. It's also possible to transfer directly to a chair. The patient is seated on the ELK with a chair next to them. Once lifted, they are then able to side transfer onto the chair using a transfer board.